cut off.
Well, on purpose. Hi.
Welcome. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Hello, everybody out there in Facebook and YouTube world.
We're still here. We're still social distancing is the word. Are you?
I am.
How?
Well, I go for a walk every morning with my neighbor, and we stay 6 feet apart.
Okay.
But it's great. It's good therapy to get out, get some fresh air every morning, get some exercise. I will have you know we started walking last October, so it's not like it's a new thing. I mean, we've been, but we haven't stopped.
I'm going to start walking here instead of over there.
Well, you're here when you look at this one, you're looking at YouTube, and when you look at that one, you're looking at Facebook. So you kind of have to do go back and forth between the two.
That's way beyond my pay raise.
Now that you are famous, you have to manage. You're a vlogger now.
I'm a who?
A vlogger.
We need to pull that back a little bit because I feel like I'm not in the picture. We can't see our cups.
Well, you got to raise your glass. Cheers. I guess that wasn't socially distant.
That's true.
I did make some masks for my family. I should have brought it in here. I have it in the other room.
I don't have one.
Well, what kind of a nurse are you?
Well, I don't sew very well. I don't follow directions very well. But you might want to give me one.
Oh, I can give you one.
Okay.
And then you can wash it. You'd have to wash it because I had it on.
And you're supposed to wash in hot water, by the way.
Hot water.
Yeah.
I had some bandanas at home. So I made bandana ones. And initially I did it with the hair ties. So I went to Walmart, and halfway through Walmart, I about passed out because my ears were in so much pain.
With the hair ties?
And it was so thick that I couldn't breathe. So then I saw another tutorial about how you can use socks. So I cut up a sock, and I'm using that around my ears now. It's much more comfortable.
You're going to make me a sock one to go around my ears.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about that elastic that they use sometimes to go around the ears? That little tiny, small elastic?
Well, everybody in the world has bought up all the elastic.
I didn't think about that because I'm social distancing. I'm home alone.
Yeah, so tell me about that. Like, are you going crazy?
No, I'm not going crazy.
Are you seeing people?
I'm not seeing people. Well, I see this lady in the bathroom mirror. I had been talking to her, but she's looking so bad in the morning that she's scaring me. So I'm not going to talk to that lady in the mirror anymore. So I thought I would try it in the afternoon,
Yeah.
She don't look much better in the afternoon. I don't think there's much help for that woman. So I'm not going to go talk to that lady in the mirror anymore. I'll just talk to the cats instead. No, I enjoy myself at home. I can read a lot. I've read a lot of books. I've got a lot of things going. I got a lot of information to look up concerning my work that I like to do. I eat, and I watch a little television, and I read, and I eat, and I eat, I eat. Then I go back to reading, and then I eat, and I eat.
So are you cooking, or are you just eating?
I am doing something very bad. I'm knick-knacking.
Knick-knacking. That's not a thing.
Yes, it is. Why isn't it a thing?
Because nobody knick-knacks.
I do.
Or maybe you knick-knack, give your dog a bone. I don't know. Is that a song?
I just eat a little bit of here and there. Maybe I'll put some crackers in the bowl with some olives and maybe a little piece of meat. Or maybe I'll make a sandwich with some avocados.
I'm really glad I am not stuck at home with you.
If you were home with me, I would cook. But I'm home alone, and I'm not going to cook for one person.
So you just knick-knack.
This happens to people who are by themselves. It's a phenomenon. I did one night. I took a chicken breast, and I put it in with some soup, and I cut it up, and it was really good. And I put it over some sesame rice, and it was very, very good.
What's sesame rice?
It's just a really good rice. No, not sesame rice. That was at the TV show. Jasmine.
Oh, jasmine rice.
Jasmine rice.
Yes,
I put it with jasmine rice, and it was really, really good. My sister taught me that. But tonight, I'm going to have cabbage.
Just cabbage?
I like cabbage. I have a hot pot and I put it in there for 16 minutes and it's very, very good.
You just eat cabbage. There's nothing with it?
No, I just eat cabbage.
Getting your roughage in. Huh?
Mm-hmm. And I eat peanut butter and jelly. Doesn't take a lot. I just eat a lot of what I have. So by the time this is all over with, I don't know. I don't know if I'll fit in this screen with you. I may have to have the whole
Well, if
screen.
you're eating cabbage and olives, then I think you're going to be fine.
Yes. Well, I was eating a few cookies, but I don't have to worry about the cookies anymore because I ate them all. So now I'm down to fig Newtons.
Well,
You eat fig
there's
Newtons a little slower. So that's okay. But I'm doing well. My kids are very nice. They call from all over and check on me. My friends in Utah call all the time and they check on me. So I feel very much loved. My granddaughter here goes to the store for me if I need anything. My daughter here calls me. She's the one that brought me chicken over. I didn't have any chicken. She brought me chicken and some hamburger meat. And she calls me. So I feel very much loved and appreciated. And then I come here with you. And how much more love should I ever have to have?
It's oozing.
The love is oozing in this room.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're full of it,
Sometimes.
Okay, some things we want to talk about today.
Oh, you got an agenda.
I have an agenda today because it's a real talk with Rosemary. So sometimes you may not be ready for what I'm going to say, but I think that sometimes it's things in your mind and you're not saying it out loud. So I'm going to say it out loud today.
So that's why I'm here, is so I can beep you out or something when you say inappropriate things.
Yes, so you can beat me out. Go right ahead.
All right.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit today about DNRs. We do this a lot when you first come into Oakwood. DNR is a do not resuscitate. So if your loved one were to fall out, have a heart attack, laying there, no pulse, no nothing, you want comfort measures, and that's all you want. Doesn't mean we don't call, someone to come get you, take you to the hospital. But those things need to be in order right now because families are not being able to go to the hospital with them. So you need to think about that.
So the DNR is pre-hospitalization though, right?
It tells you if you want to be resuscitated or not.
But not just the living, or not just the DNR. We should have our living will.
Of course, you should have a living trust usually. But the most important is to get that DNR done. Because this is a very, very horrible disease or virus. It likes older people. It likes some young people too, but it likes us older people because we have more things wrong with us. And if we do, our chances are not that good that we'll make it through this.
It's not that you have more things wrong with you. It's just you're a little more complicated.
She's trying to say I'm a little bit more older, right? She didn't want to say that.
You said it.
Yeah. No, we've been here longer. So we have some high blood pressure. Maybe we have some diabetes. Maybe we have some COPD. We don't breathe as good as we used to. That'll happen to her. It's just not her time yet. Some of us are a little overweight. All those things make a big difference when you're trying to do this virus. I want you to think about that, but I also want you to think about yourself. Do you have a DNR? Does your family know what you want? Have you discussed it? And by the way, you're hearing a lot about the word ventilator. Yeah. I'm not going to go into ventilator a lot because I don't want to scare everybody. I scared everybody at work. And
she did. We had a conference call the other day. And but I'm thankful you talked to us about it. So
it's something that nobody has talked about. I've watched some television. I don't watch a lot, but I watch enough. And they talk about ventilators all the time. So I'm wondering, what do you know about a ventilator? Do you want to be put on one when you go in? What happens to a ventilator? I have a family member whose husband didn't really understand about ventilators. And he's a very, very bright man. But this is a medical thing, so we don't know about that. When you have a ventilator, the reason they use it, and you have to be in ICU to be watched, it's going to breathe for you. It's going to push put air down into your lungs, and it's going to make those lungs come up and down because you're either not breathing or the pneumonia is so bad in your lungs that the little sacs are not working anymore. So artificially, this is breathing and keeping you alive. So you have to think, is that what I want? If I am older, do I want that? Keep in the consideration, well, let's go back here. When they when they use a ventilator, what they're doing is they're putting a tube down your throat, past your vocal cords. That's why you cannot speak. Maybe you don't know that. You cannot speak when you're on a ventilator. It goes down into the lungs. So that's an open airway. And one of the biggest problems with ventilators is you get pneumonia. You get a bacterial pneumonia. So you can see as we get older, to get a bacterial pneumonia on top of having this disease, that's it's quite critical. Then you're into big problems. So they put the tube down, and you can have a lot of issues there, a lot of anxiety, particularly since we can't go in with our loved ones anymore. So they're doing this alone outside of that nurse and doctor. And the way I hear them talk, I think they're trying their best to do what they can to be there for the families. But you need to think about that.
So what's the alternative? So if
Death.
So you choose to not go on the ventilator,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at death.
Yes.
You choose to go on the ventilator, you're looking at a
Death.
poor quality of life.
You're
And
looking
then-
at poor quality of life. They figure right now that 2/3 of the people who are put on ventilators during this episode we're having, 2/3 of them don't make it. 1/3 do. That means 1/3 in the hospital make it. But when you're on a ventilator, you have to get off of it. Sometimes it's very hard to get off of a ventilator. You just don't say, one day we'll take him off the ventilator. The lungs have to know that they can breathe now. So that's an important thing. The lungs have to breathe. That's called weaning. You have to wean them off of the ventilator. Sometimes that's hard. Sometimes they're on the ventilator the rest of their lives. I'm talking more towards our older people. They say people who have been on ventilators, the real problem starts when you go home. You have to learn to eat again. You have to learn to sometimes walk again. You have usually severe PTSD, and you can have severe anxiety and depression because this is a bad thing. You can't talk. You've got this tube down. You don't understand. You probably have some delirium anyway. So there's a lot of things that you have to think about. If that's your choice, that's fine. Just as long as you have all the information that you need to make that choice. That's why it's called Real Talk. And I was thinking about this, and I'm saying nobody's ever said what a ventilator does. You know, but it's a tube. They're going to put it way down. It's not comfortable to do that.
Yeah.
They usually have to put you almost in a coma so they can get that down into your lungs. Some people will pull it out, so they have to kind of keep them in a semi-coma. So these are a lot of things. So this is something you really need to think about. If you have an older person with dementia, is this what you really want to do? I have my own feelings, but you need to really think about that. You need to talk to your family. Maybe they don't know they're going to get a tube down their throat, past their vocal cords. They can't talk. Of course, you can't eat, so then you're going to have another tube in to give you a nourishment or fluids. So it's a very big thing. It's a critical thing. It's only done in critical care. You used to hear about it a lot in accidents. People might have crushing injuries, but the recovery rate of them is not real good. And the third that live, I don't know how many of them after they leave the hospital that they have a positive outcome. You have to have a lot of family members that are ready to work with you during this phase. And the older we are, the more complicated we are, the more problems we have, the more dementia we have. You can imagine how terrified it is for these people. So those are things that you need to keep in. Also, when you're laying still all the time, I don't know if you're likely to have blood clots, but that's another thing. You're still, you're not moving, your possibility to have blood clots go off. So it's just a lot to think about. And it helps you to tell your family what it is, because they may not know. And maybe if they know these things, then they'll be a little more educated and can make their decision wisely. So
I think it's good advice. I mean, they're talking about ventilators all the time, like it's common practice. And I honestly it didn't cross my mind. So I appreciated you having that conversation with us, but it's,
yeah, ventilators, you have a ventilator because you can't breathe on your own. They put a little gadget, you stick your finger in it, and they see what the O2 in your body is. And if it keeps dropping, that means your lungs are not working enough to get oxygen to your kidneys and your liver and all those parts of your body. So that's why they put you on. So it's a serious thing to think about.
Yeah.
So I don't want to scare you. I want you to be educated. I don't want you to be ignorant of what's going on, because it's your body and it's your decision. So there.
Bam. There's your real talk for the day.
Yes.
All right. What else have you got for us? All
Well,
this thinking time you've had.
I know.
Kind of scare me
I
a little
know.
bit. What's going to come out of that now?
we had a question. Read that question that you told
Well,
me.
we did. We really appreciate our friend.
Yeah, the
who-
questions help me so much if you give me questions.
But I lost it. I found it though. Don't worry.
Uh-huh.
All right. So Margaret asked a question. How do I get my mom to take a shower?
Mhm.
It's like arguing with a child and being a police officer. I can see a decline in my mother because she's not staying active. I try to take her for walks, paint, draw. I'm lucky to get her excited on her day off. She just wants to sleep and watch TV.
Okay, let's go back and talk about why mother doesn't want to have a bath. One of our biggest problems here now, we're dealing with people who have some kind of dementia, is getting some of the doctors to tell you enough information. A lot of time you get told, well, he has dementia, and you go home, do the best you can. Well, that's not telling you anything. Some people know to go to support groups. Some people don't know this. Some people go to a group and they'll get a little bit more education. But unless you educate yourself on this disease, learn a little bit about it, then there's no way that your mother will ever take a bath. And I don't know with this person what her understanding of the disease is.
Well, I think too, you meet one person with Alzheimer's disease.
And you meet one
one
person with Alzheimer's
disease, right?
Well,
So-
there's some things that they need, and I call it CSF. They need comfort, they need security, and they need familiarity. Those three things that they lack, those things a person must have to survive. So if your mind is wandering, those are the things that frighten you when you're going to take a bath. You need security. You want to be comfortable. You want things that are familiar to you. Your mother, you're talking to your mother and she's thinking in her mind, well, I'm an independent woman. I can take my own bath. What is she talking about? They get very belligerent. And so you may have to think about different ways. I will tell you that bathing is two of the most difficult things you can do with a person who has any form of dementia. Sometimes there is not an answer. I have a patient. Excuse me, he's not a patient, he's a member.
Good job. Thank you.
Yes.
Can't take that old school nurse out of you
No,
sometimes.
been a nurse for 39 years, a little bit longer. So you have to kind of listen to them. It's dealing with a different type individual now. They're still your mother, but they may not leave that. They may get up that day and not know who you are. They may think you're a stranger in the house, ask them to take their clothes off. Now that would be very scary to me. If you've always been very independent in your life, you would probably think they're crazy wanting to take your clothes off. And then they have problems about being afraid of the water. For some reason, they can't see the water. They're afraid of the water. They don't like it hitting them. All of a sudden, this water is hitting them. They don't understand that. So you need a shower head that's removable. So you can just start it on their feet. It has to be warm water. The room has to be very warm. If you're not sweating, then the room is not warm enough.
Huh.
My mother was a lot like this. She didn't want to take a bath because it was too cold. And I had a hard time getting my bathroom warm enough for her. Because she would say, Rosie, it's just too cold. And it was, I think, too cold for her. But if you're sweating, then your mother or father is probably comfortable. You use a no-tear shampoo. You can use a no-rinse peri-care. That's for the special places in your body below the waist, if you get what I mean.
I get it.
Okay. They need a chair in the bathtub so they can sit on the chair. I seriously doubt you'll get them to get inside the bathtub, but you can put a chair there, use a shower that you can pull down and put on their feet. I suggest that you rig up some music in that room, a music that they like. The reason I say that is because on the right side of the brain is your music and dancing and those things. So that's one of the last things that they're going to forget because it's in a different area of the brain. So we'll have that for a long time, maybe till we even die. So put music which they have listened to. If your mom and dad have like country western, put some country western music on. Get the room bright so they can see, no shadows. Keep it very warm. One lady even put her towels in the dryer and got the towels very dry. So when she sat her mother in the chair, she would put a towel over her shoulders. It gave her a feeling of privacy and it kept her comfortable. So those are things that you can use. You need everything together. You don't need to be running out of the room and leaving her. So you might say to me, well, that's not my problem. I can't even get her in the bathroom. I understand a lot of people cannot get them in the bathroom. You're going to have to think about the three things that I'm talking about: the comfort, the security, and things that they're familiar with. You're going to have to be aware of that. You're going to have to get in your mother's mind and think. It's not an easy thing at all. But you need to, are we all right?
Our Facebook Live just went down.
Oh.
Right when you
We're
were
back.
right when you were on fire.
When I was on fire?
You're on fire.
Oh, well, we'll get back on fire.
Tell us like it is.
Are we back there now?
Keep going. Yep.
Okay, what was I saying? I was
If
on
they-
fire.
If they don't want to get in the tub.
Okay, if they don't want to get in the tub, you're going to have to really think about what you're going to do. This is hard, people. This is not easy. This is not for the faint of heart. Maybe you can say to them, let's have a spa. Mama, would you like to have a spa day? And you don't stand up here, Bob, Mom. You get down here with Mom and you hold Mom's hand. And you're going to hold Mom's hand in a special way. You're going to do this with Mom. You're going to do this. Like this. Let me show you. You're going to put some pressure in Mom's palm. And as you put, okay, now put your hands over like you're going to get me. Okay. You have to watch because if she has fingernails, she could get into me. But you hold her and you put pressure. Can you feel the pressure?
Mm-hmm. Feels good, actually.
Okay. The pressure that you're putting on her hand will become very calming. So if you're talking like this to your mother, slow it down. Hi, Mom. How are you doing? And just go lower and lower. How about me and you go and have a spa day? You remember how we used to, when we were little, we'd have a spa day? And we can get ready and maybe we can go have some ice cream. Or maybe we can go for a car ride. But just keep pushing on the hand, just slowly, and giving her some reassurance. It does help. That makes her feel secure. What if she says, well, I'm not going to do that? Then maybe you need to come back at a different time. Maybe she didn't take a bath every morning. Maybe you need to find out what her schedule was. Did she take a bath in the afternoon? Lord be, you don't need to bathe them every day because we're not that dirty. Once a week is fine. 2 times would be good, but once a week. My mama used to give spit baths, and I think now they call it a sponge bath.
Yeah.
You can give a sponge bath. You can use a no-rinse shampoo. Most people like to have their feet soaked. So if you can get their feet in warm water and soak them, then you can just kind of nonchalantly get underneath their arms and stick some deodorant under there, because that's one of the big problems. But you have to be resourceful. You have to really give it a lot of thought. You can do all of this, and it sometimes does not work for you. So you have to think of other things. The one gentleman that I had worked with, the one time I did get him to bathe, is that they used a person from an agency. But the agency listened to me. I talked with them and said, I need somebody with an A personality that can not be pushy, but be firm and know what they're going to do and carry through. Well, it worked. He got in and got a really good bath. So it's a possibility that you set it all up and then you either leave the house or you go somewhere and let them deal with your loved one after you introduce you and just get out and let her do her thing. A lot of times that helps. Another way it could be maybe another family member. If it's a man, maybe he might like a son, or maybe he might like a caregiver that's a man. Mm-hmm. So these are all the things that you can use. Sometimes these still don't work. So I'm being truthful with you. I know the first time years ago, they told me, well, the way you get a bath is you make it really warm, put music on, and have everything together and just lead them in. It don't go that way. It's very difficult sometimes, but you have to find that clue that's going to get your loved one in the bathroom.
Well, I think waiting for the right moment too. Like if you can tell that your loved one is a little edgy on that day, then it may not even be worth the fight.
Yeah, you have to watch for those signs that it's going to be okay. You can give a bath. Yeah. If they're having a really bad day, don't even go there. You use your intelligence. You're intelligent people. You have to be sure, though, that you give them comfort, you give them security and familiarity. That's important. If they always use a certain lotion in the bathroom, that you use that certain. My mother used a certain powder all the time. The things that they might smell, if they have smell and they still remember, you want to do those. Also, when you're dealing with people with dementia, you want to validate their feelings. You don't want to just think in your mind, oh, they're wrong, and I'm going to correct them. You can never correct them. You never win an argument with a person who has Alzheimer's disease. Validate what they're talking about. If they think their mom is still alive and well, some people want to rush in and say, well, she's been dead now for 30 years. No. You're going to validate. You're going to say, I bet your mom is really nice. Ask something about her. Women like to cook. What was the favorite thing that your mama made that you like to eat? Because I like to eat your blah, 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 blah. Get her talking. Change it a little bit around so you can see what it is that she really likes. Then when you start that, you're starting distraction. So you're validating what they're seeing. If they're seeing little green men on the wall, you could say to them, how many little green men are on the wall? They seem awfully quiet. At least you're understanding what she's happening. When you say, I don't see little green men on the wall, she just thinks you're nuts because she sees the green men on the wall. And really she does in her mind. So you have to validate it's right. And then you have to distract her. Well, Mom, let's go get a bowl of ice cream. Would you go with me to get the mail? Any number of things. You know what your loved one likes to do. And you have to, it's a job. It's not an easy thing to do. So hopefully you'll use some of these things and think about it, and you will get them to take a bath. But if they only get one bath a week, don't go crazy, because nothing bad's going to happen to them. So what was the next one? She had trouble with her wanting to sleep a lot.
We have Cedric. He's saying hi.
Hi, Cedric. I know you. Are you ready for your arsenic and strychnine? You say anything?
Well, not yet. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I give arsenic and strychnine out when I give medications because we have fun where I work. So I started to tell them I had a new kind of pill. I had arsenic, strychnine, and later on I added.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I am crazy. What is the chemical in the yard that you're not supposed to use anymore to kill the grass?
Fertilizer?
No, the one that you're being sued about.
No one's suing me. Who's
No.
suing you? I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, it's a weed killer.
Oh.
It's a weed killer you use in the yard. Anybody think of that name? Come on, it slipped my mind.
As soon as you get out of here, you're gonna know.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, I would always tease them that I've got arsenic for them, and I'll say, well, it doesn't seem to be working, so I doubled the dose today, and I put a little rat poisoning in there, so you're going to be feeling a lot better. So we laugh, and they've all picked up on it. And this gentleman that just called in is from the town center group where we're filming this from, and he would ask me, did I have my arsenic? So anyway, that's what that was about.
All right. Well, we got to wrap it up here. You've been.
Oh, I'm not just ready to do that.
You've been gabbing now for like 30 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, that's my problem. I don't know when to shut up. The next time we're going to talk about the lady whose mother wants to stay in bed all the time. I think I might know what's wrong with her mother
Okay.
there.
Well, give us don't make us wait 2 weeks. Like, give us a
hint?
Yeah.
It might have to do with depression. Considering 40% of the people who have dementia also have depression. That's why here at Oakwood, one of the first things I do is check out if they're on an antidepressant. Roundup. That's
Jan.
it. So I start. Yeah, thank you, Jan. So that's what I've started doing is giving them Roundup with their arsenic and strychnine, and they laugh. It's fun. And we have a good time. Before we leave, I want to say a hello to a little boy in Utah. His name is Tregan. Hi, Tregan. He listens to all of our broadcasts, and I'm his crazy Aunt Rose. So I just want to say hi to Tregan.
Well, hi, Tregan.
Hi, Tregan. So
And behind us, this beautiful piece of art.
That's beautiful.
That was done by our teaching artist, Nikki. And you too can paint this painting. You've got to check out our paint nights, which are starting. We have one that's sold out for Friday. And this is Candy Mountain, and it's next Saturday. So you got to sign up because we are selling out on those fun pandemic paint nights. You can find them on Facebook or on our website. So that's what's happening. We also have classes going on all the time. So make sure that that's another way to keep your loved ones active is sign them up for.
So where can they go to buy things like paintings and cups and things like that? My cup is for sale. Is that site open yet?
$10 for no.
Not open yet.
Well, we had to redo our entire business model, Rosemary, from in-person to virtual. So,
well, if you want to buy a painting, you see that the artist is doing, just let them know, and they'll give you a price on it. I sent one to my grandson in Seattle. He wanted it, and I just sent my friend up in Utah. I sent her
7 mugs.
7 mugs. So, anyway, they're fun. I never thought when I got to be 39 3/8 that I have my
Your own mug.
my face on a mug.
I mean, it's something to aspire to.
It's really something to aspire to.
Someday, maybe. I mean, I have to drink out of a cup with your.
Yes,
mug
I know.
on it.
That's
Is
the
that
best
like-
part of it. That's the best part. Well, we thank you for visiting us today. Any questions you send us are very, very helpful. I can get you all different kinds of information and give you different things to think about. So,
And you are doing one-on-one sessions via.
I want to tell you that if you're here locally, and if you're having these kind of problems, somebody has not told you enough information. You can come in and have one-to-one with me.
You cannot come in.
If they stay 6 feet.
Oh, you can do Zoom.
Oh, that's right. We do Zoom now. Well, I'm used to doing it in person, but if it was just me and one other person, we would be fine because it would be private.
Jan says you have your own mug shot.
I have my own mug shot. Yeah, I've always wanted that. But if 1-to-1, and then when we get back to normal,
You're going to get back to normal?
well, I don't know. That's not a way quite to put that. I've never really been quite normal. But when we do get back to our usual routine, you can come in, you can make an appointment on Oakwood with me and come in for 30 minutes to an hour, whatever you think you need. And we will talk about how to handle these. I will educate you so that you will be well informed. It's not difficult. It's difficult because you have to really search and understand your loved one. And then it'll be it's always going to be a problem, but it's going to be less of a problem. And at least you'll feel better because you're doing something to help your loved one. So, and if all else fails, you have arsenic and Roundup.
What'd you put in my drink?
Oh, I didn't give you anything today. We'll see you
till next time, I guess.
until next time.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening.